So many times that all of us want to be perfect, but you're basically driving yourself to insanity. Practice makes progress. You're always working on it. Hello everybody, welcome back to Like Copy with Henri and Mike. Today is the 24th of October 2022. It is a lovely Monday. Right now it's about 11:35 a.m. in Barcelona, Spain. And Mike, where are you? What time is it there?
I'm in Singapore right now. It's 5:35 p.m. right now. Lovely weather today. So this week I've been back to be a part-time soldier. I've been back for a week. So this is a kind of like a long weekend because Diwali in Singapore today. It's a holiday today. It's like a festive of light for the religion of Hinduism. So I'll be away again from Tuesday to Friday. And this time around, I'm going for my annual camping exercise.
Oh, so you're not really done yet. You're just coming back for a public holiday.
Yeah,
but tomorrow you have
exactly.
to go again.
This year I was lucky that I had an extra day of break because of Bali. The camping exercise is coming up next. So looking forward to that. Hopefully it doesn't rain because the last couple of days it has been raining, honestly. Praying super hard that it doesn't rain. So that's for me this week, been back doing some trading. Went for range for myself this week, the past week. And I'm a marksman. Woo!
What does it even mean?
Basically, you just take a rifle and then you go out to the live range to shoot live rounds. And there's a score out of 30 and then you shoot 30 rounds split into 15 of day shoot and then 15 for the night shoot. Then thereafter, results will be out to see whether you have obtained a good grade to become a marksman. Yeah.
But once you become a marksman, what do you do?
I think it's just a testament of your skills. It's a fundamental thing as a soldier. Doesn't matter which vocation you're in, you just need to know how to shoot, as simple as that. But anyway, there's another thing is like, I think in Singapore, the way they try to incentivize you is to get $200 if let's say you're a marksman. So Christmas came early.
Oh, really? And then you can invest in your camera. I think that would be a very good investment.
I just changed a new one right now in front of me. Did you? And using this one. Yeah, I did. I think it's better. It should be better than the previous one.
Okay, congratulations to be a marksman and have 200 SGDs cash at Michael's reach.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a week and a half, right, since we last chatted. The last time we chatted was in Zurich, I remember.
Yes,
right?
Correct. You're right. And where are you right now?
I'm in fabulous Barcelona. So I've been in Barcelona since a week and a half, I think, and it's coming to an end because I'm flying back to Singapore on Thursday morning from here. So far, I am enjoying myself. I've been spending a lot of time with this friend of mine whom I used to study in Liechtenstein, and she has been living here in Barcelona for the last 5 years. So it's quite nice to kind of like catch up with her and then like have the conversations all the time, like deep conversations. Yeah, I think we are all kind of like in a transition in our life. So it is nice to talk about it and then to see how we can implement that in our life for the next step and things like this. So it's good. And then throughout this week, we actually have done quite a lot. I mean, I put myself into routine. So I've been going to my CrossFit here every single day, apart from Sunday. I just need to rest my body. But I also realized that every time I change a new CrossFit box, like either be drop in or just for a short period of time, my body get very exhausted. Why? It's because every box, they have different program. They kind of like train you differently. So my body needs some time to get into that rhythm. But here in Barcelona, I think I also tried different things, like, bar muscle up. Those are something new that I have seen people do it, but I have not done it myself. So I did practice a few times and I kind of get a momentum. But I think my muscle is growing, so it's good. I did record myself every day so I can see where I make the mistake, how I can improve, and to show the coach like how I can make it better in terms of technique wise. Yeah, so that's about today. But I feel like every day I'm like fighting with my ego. I meet my ego every single day. I was like having so many vulgarities in myself. Because it's frustrating, I cannot control my body, like I want to do it. I want to do it better. I can't. But then I tell myself that, Henry, just shut up and just do it. So I just like, then it went up again. And there are times whereby I feel like, oh my God, I did like a bad score and I can go down, but I cannot come out. And that's the moment I need to like suck it out and say, come on, push. So I'm still practicing on my core. And every time I see other boys or girls, they were like putting more weights. And I say, Henry, come on, you can put more weights. I'm thinking, no. I'm going to try. If I can't, I'm going to stick to my form and technique. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't be influenced by others. Because when I start to shake, like my muscle start to shake, my leg and stuff, which means that it's too heavy for me. technique. I need to drop it and then really like focus on the technique. So that's something that I've been always fighting to make sure that I don't injure myself. And that's very important for me because I want to go longer instead of like a sprint, you know.
Well, I guess that's good, right? Because like your body is sending you signals and showing you signs that if it's shaky, it's an indication that you should stick to the weight and then focus on the form. I think you have this mental cue in yourself and you stick to that.
And I realized that people can't take about 2 or 3 years to get to where they are. You know, they can't, a lot of time they can't post their own workout progression on Instagram or video or YouTube. You can see that previously they can't really do certain movement, but 2 years later or 3 years later, they can just do it. So one CrossFitter from Bali stated the other day on his Instagram saying, practice makes perfect, but he recognized my practice makes progression. And that's something I really like it a lot. So many times that all of us want to be perfect in some sense or the other, but you're basically driving yourself to insanity. So I like that practice makes progress. You're always working on it. WIP, work in progress. Remember, people. On top of that, I have been working and also like, you know, visiting some places in Barcelona. So I went back to see Sagrada Familia, the church that's still been built. Very first time I saw it was in 2008 when I came here with Kelvin and Emily, two of my really good friends from Singapore and Taiwan. And we were so young. And when I look at it, I was like, wow, amazed. And the second time I saw it was back in 2016, I think. And then this time around, 2022, after CrossFit Day, I walked down to Sagrada Familia to have a look. They actually got quite a lot of new progress there. So it was quite nice to look at it again. I didn't go in, I just looked at it from the exterior. So it's nice to remind myself, like, you know, the journey I have been, you know, with regards to Barcelona, for instance. And then we went to Sitges the other day with this friend of mine. We took a train and went down. It was a beautiful day, blue sky, great weather. Can you imagine in October, almost the end of October, I was still swimming in the sea. So it was stunning. I mean, I find it really nice. And then when the sunshine was on your face, it was just beautiful. So we stayed for quite a few hours along the beach and just like chilling. I remember the first time I went to Sitges, that was in 2008. I was so young. I mean, I'm still 18, but you know, that was when I was younger. When I was 4 years old. But Sitges is a fabulous place. It's a small coastal town. It's about 30 to 40 minutes by train from Barcelona Santos station, direct train. And it is a beautiful place. So we had a good brekkie over there in one of this place that this friend of mine suggested and went. Afterwards, we spent the afternoon just kind of strolling around the old town, getting some postcards, looking at people, grabbing coffee and stuff. You know, it was good.
Nice.
Anyway, I want to say that Barcelona is actually a very ideal living place. The quality of life is pretty high. I have access only to the mountain a little bit, but not everything. Because when you go further north, like Costa Brava and even to the Pyrenees side, Pyrenees is actually the whole mountain range between French, southwestern part of France to northeastern part of Spain, that whole region.
Generally, the terrain of Spain is the further south you go, the more mountainous it gets, right?
In the Iberia Peninsula, the highest point is Pico de Europa. I was there once when I was walking the Camino del Norte. That was the second highest in Iberia Peninsula. The highest in Iberia Peninsula is in the south, in Sierra Nevada. It's called Mujasen. It's amazing. So they have the coastal parts, the beach, and also the mountain like Barcelona. So it's easy to access. But whether to live here, I had this discussion with this friend of mine. I like it, but I think for longer term, it's probably not for me.
Why?
Because if I have to be fully integrated, right, I need to learn not only Spanish, but also Catalan. So just to really engage with local, and just in case if you want to seek for employment, you do need these two languages, you see. But for me, that's not my strength. I mean, I want to learn Spanish for the sake of like entertainment, traveling, and just enjoying life. But I don't want to learn Spanish in the sense of I need this language to survive. You know what I mean? I've done that for German, which I'm still doing it, like to maintain the language itself. There's a long way. I need to play with my strength and years of experiences. So that's why I think Zurich is a better place for me, because I already have some skill sets under my belt and I can just apply that immediately, you know? Also, in terms of condition, if you're seeking for employment, Zurich obviously offer a better deal in terms of benefits and salary, the net income that you receive, you know, a pension, all the other stuff, right?
I guess the way that you're looking at it is Zurich as a base itself. Then after that, you can still travel to Barcelona to enjoy some of the sun in the southern Europe kind of weather when Zurich gets cold. something like that. Is that what's in your mind? That's great. It's good to know that as you were away from Singapore the last month or so, you managed to check in 2 cities again and you found your footing. Good stuff.
I think in terms of having a base, I think I'm more clear for that one. So I think that's why I'm going to work towards that. I mean, ideally, it would even be better if I'm like working everything for myself 100%, but I think that will be some time to come. So before that day comes, I will stick to certain employment. And I should have a thought on that as well. Remember the test I asked you to do? Have you done it? The personality test? What is your result?
I am a campaigner. What about yours? What's yours?
I'm an advocate. They give you an alphabet, right? Or did they give it to you?
ENFP.
A campaigner, extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and prospecting personality traits. Mine is INFJT. So it's the advocate. It's introvert, intuitive, feeling, and judgment, I think. And T is for turbulence.
A is assertive. I'm more assertive than turbulent.
Okay. Campaigner. So what kind of career do they say to you? Like
Diplomat.
Diplomat.
Interesting. You know, there's this at the end of the page, they'll tell you like, you know, campaigners you may know. Robbie Williams, Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man.
Yes, exactly. So these are the top few. Of course, there's a lot of others.
Mine is actually people like Mother Teresa or Nelson Mandela. This kind of people.
Wow. All the Nobel Prize winners.
The career suggestion was more like if it's corporate, more to human resource part, or in terms of psychology, was psychologist, counselor, or writer as well.
That sounds very much like you.
But I checked also what are the careers you should not go into, because this INFJT is more like you get stressed out very quickly. So you need to like really be in a calm space so you can like evolve and, you know, just grow. So that one is the politics, finance, try not to get into, but those I've got into. So last night when I read that, I was like, maybe I should really think about it, you know. Maybe I should go like try to read a bit more like psychological stuff, because that's something I'm really interested in. And doing all this video thing, I have come into contact a lot with all those writing. So or to be a counselor somehow, I don't know, maybe the next career move.
You know, the first thing that comes to mind when we talk about like counseling and psychology and knowing you for so long, I just thought that, maybe with your skill set, definitely human resource in terms of recruiting, like headhunting perspective. That's something that is useful. And then counseling, you can think about like corporate counseling. I think that's something that's probably useful as well. Purely psychology, I think, even though they say you're introvert, which it's surprising, maybe social psychology aspect of things.
I think by nature, I'm an introvert. I'm inborn with that. The extrovert part is something that I learn later in life. Like, how should I deal with people? How do I engage with them? How do I talk to them? How do I communicate with people? So those are the things that make me learn. I think ultimately I'm an introvert because I need the time to recharge. I cannot be always be around people all the time. But it will drain my energy. When I need to tank myself up again, I need to be alone in the nature or just do my own stuff, like normal stuff, you know. And that's being said in the writing part of the profile there. I said, well, that's very true actually. I'm not sure whether those career suggestions will actually be more suitable for me, but I think it's worth it to try. And I want to improve on myself. Improving, there's also another thing that's this character. So I thought I will sign up for this Fan Uni Hagen. It's like a long distance learning in Germany. It's quite reputable, so they do everything online. And for years, like literally years, I've been looking at this course, like Bachelor in Psychology, just to understand a bit more. I didn't really sign up for years because there's so many things on the plate. So I thought now maybe I could do that. At one point, I can also maintain my German. On the other hand, just learning something really new. You know, subjects like philosophy, psychology, all these things in the German-speaking world is actually very enriching.
There's actually a lot of psychologists and philosophers. They are from Germany as well.
It's a land of thinkers and poets.
Sigmund Freud. He's not German. I think it's Austrian. Yeah. So it's that sphere of
German-speaking world.
Yeah, I remember Sigmund Freud. I went to Austria to visit the place that he stayed in almost 10 years ago. It's crazy. Like the person that you study in the textbook, and then you're visiting a place. Brings back a lot of memories. I
had this conversation the other day as well with this friend of mine. We call it numerology, based on numbers. So basically what you do is you add out the birthday, the Western birthday and years of your numbers. Then whenever you have a double digit, you always add them together. So at the end, you come to a single digit. And that digit itself is a soul number. And this soul number is basically talking about how many times you have been on this earth. your soul. So every stage 1 to 9, there's no exception, but 1 to 9, they have different description out there. So we had a read the other day, and it was quite interesting. I'm a 9, where you are, let me calculate, don't say the birthday. 10 plus 8, 18, 18 plus 9, 27, 27, 9, 2 plus 7 is 9, 9 plus 6, 15, 15 plus 3, 18, 8. You're an 8. Okay, so what's your word for this week then? Do you have some topic you want to talk about?
Yeah, of course. There's some important events. I would say a milestone, I guess. The word is commonality. I was saying, right? I went back for my military reservist, the final one. As always, at the very end, the brigade commander will come to the unit wherever you are. He will visit and he will present you the certificate to show the appreciation of the entire military for your contribution, your effort and time over the last however long that he has taken you to reach this milestone. For me, I was promoted as well, and at the same time they presented this farewell gift, which is a watch. It's a Swiss watch basically. Aviator watch. So everybody will get that, But to me, it's just like when I was receiving it, a lot of memories came back. And I was thinking to myself, so how long have I been doing this? 13 years to be exact. 2 years of full-time service when I was 18 to 20 years old. Then after that, almost every year you'll go get called back once. That's how military works in Singapore, even though it's constricted. But every year you go back to kind of retrain and refamiliarize yourself with the soldiering aspect of things and continue with the tasks that is given to you based on your vocation, right? So that's what happened. And 13 years was a long time, really. Like time passed so quickly, and I was asking myself, reflecting, what exactly have I kind of learned and take away for the last 13 years? And then I realized that, okay, the word is definitely commonality. Why so? It is stamped out of conversation I had with my mates this time around, just last week when I was back. They were asking me, how many military camps have you served your current vocation? I calculated 5 in total. And that's more than usual for anybody who's on the same journey as me, because most people will follow through with the same unit, or if not, a couple of units. But at the most, maybe two different camps. But more for me, it was 5. And I was thinking, like, out of these 5, what are some of the tricks or hacks that I have learned over the years that I have applied? Not only during military service, but at the same time also during life, outside of military. And I realized commonality. I'll just sum it up saying something like this: find the commonality quick, connect with the right group of people, and then get things done. I think these are the 3 things that I have taken away with me over the last 13 years. As I go to 5 different camps, work with 5 different groups and 5 different environments altogether, more often than not is I need to try to connect with people fast so that I can get my work done, right? So the easiest thing is to find a commonality, and especially so in a military sense, because you have to find a common language, the common lingo, the common ethos that you have, the spirit basically. A lot of times when you go to a military, I think that's also where I realized that when I first stepped into the military full time as an 18 or 19 years old young punk, the worldview is just like that maybe. And then you're exposed to so many different types of people who are really very well educated, people who are not well educated, people who are in gangs, people who are doing funny things outside.
Basically, you see all walks of life, right, from the society.
Really, yes, a full spectrum of that. How then do I connect? So that's when you realize that, common language is important. So if you talk to people who are maybe more well-educated, you should try to speak English primarily in Singapore's military terms. There's another group of people that you talk to that may be more Singlish, or maybe even more Mandarin Chinese as well.
If you met a English educated guy from the school that you went to, how would you ask him to come out for a dinner? Hey,
we're done for the day. Shall we head over to the cookhouse to have a dinner together?
The Singaporean gangster.
Mix of Singlish and Mandarin will be like, hey, we are done now. 走走走，去cookhouse吃了。Let's go together.
What about someone who is just speaking Mandarin?
Something along the line like, 肚子饿了，走，一起去吃饭了。
We want to be a bit more inclusive of other Singaporean guys as well, right? There's like Singaporean Indian, Singaporean Malay. Hey, let's go makan.
Makan basically means eat in Malay. So that's another way to be more inclusive and get you connected with people fast. And the ethos, generally speaking, is the spirit of things, So there's always this saying in the military, in Singapore's case, will be chop chop curry pop, like what I said. Basically, get things done fast. Don't waste time. I think this is definitely the best takeaway I have. And of course, the follow-up question I have when I ask myself is like, have I applied it well in life? I split it into 2, when I'm in military and one is general life outside of military. Then I realized that for sure, in military, executed perfectly. Get things done on time, mission accomplished. As a team, we managed to survive and hit a lot of targets that were passed down. But outside of military sense, not really. And then I asked, why is it this can be applied in a military sense, but not as well maybe in a general life? And I realized it's because of the parameters that we have set. Like in a military sense, okay, let's just put it this way. Every single year when you go back, there is a training institute that will design your a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks worth of training. And all you have to do is to follow and execute whatever that is needed. To a large extent, you already have the experience. So with that experience, all you need to do is apply. That is the reason why you are able to execute it well. But when it comes to life, outside of life, there's no such thing. Nobody's going to be there for you to tell you, hey, Henry, you got to do this, Mike, you got to do this. No, nobody's going to tell you that. The only thing you can is try to create a lighthouse or the guiding post for yourself. Like maybe find people who are more senior, who have been there, done that, and you learn from these people. It's very, very different. When we did that, a personality test, for instance, what you have done, they told you not to go into finance and politics, but in fact, you were in finance. And you should actually do something that is more empathy kind of stuff, right? Big love kind of thing. So that's really different. So in life, there's no fixed vocation like in military. Your interests change along the way. You fine tune as circumstances as such. You will try to shift towards different things in life.
Right.
So this light post will forever be moving. You just got to try to create that for yourself. The more you are exposed to this thing, the more you are probably able to adapt. Yeah, so it took me a few days to come to this realization as well, because at the heat of the moment, I just feel it, the emotional aspects like, wow, my God, it's coming to an end. But what exactly are the details will be later as I talk to friends around, mates in camp with me, and I talk to family. I'm still using this entire commonality, connecting with people fast, the right group of people, and get things done in my daily life as well. Other than that would be the final question I ask myself. So 13 years, what's the biggest takeaway? And the first thing come to my mind is so many different people that I have met. And of course, the experiences that I have shared with them. Tough times when we are out in the jungle, all the training, fatigue, tiredness, all this kind of stuff. And of course, there are fun times as well where we went out outside of camp, where we meet up for meals, attending each other's weddings, talking about kids. Some of them have kids now, giving each other some tips in life. I really appreciate that. 13 years.
My word for this week will be clarity. I often said in the past that you need to know what you don't want, and it will help you to know better what you want.
So it's double C this week. Commonality for Mike and clarity for Henry.
So with that, let's wrap up this episode. Thank you everyone for listening and watching us on YouTube. Be kind to yourself. Don't forget to smile and take care of each other. Don't forget to subscribe to Henri and Mike. We shall see you in the very next episode. Ciao, ciao. Hasta luego. Ciao, ciao.
See you. Bye, bye.